Yo, what up, y'all? Welcome to another incredible TurnUp Tuesday. Thank each and every one of y'all for jumping on. We're about to get live and in it today. And we are here with another incredible TurnUp Tuesday of 2022. So, guys, I'm just going to share with you open, honestly, and transparently, because that is the mission, to continue to grow and become the best version of ourselves. So thank each and every one of you for being present. What up, Nunde? I'm super excited. But with that also being said, we got to drop the disclaimer and drop it early, right? I'm going to share with you open and honestly. This is just the mind of MJ. It's my 2 cents. No, you didn't ask for it, but I'm going to give it to you anyway. And with that being said, I may say something that upsets and or triggers you. And from the bottom of my heart, you are absolutely welcome. Nothing I say and or share is law or fact. It is just perspective, and hopefully it enlighten you to things that may be deep inside of you that you either once ignored or were causes of pain that we get to heal. And let's grow better together, because today we're going to talk about make them proud. And this is something that for a while has weighed a little heavy on me, because as I've shared in previous TurnUp Tuesday or last week's TurnUp Tuesday, I had big goals for 2021. Like really big goals for 2021. And I was absolutely transparent when I shared that, none of them came to fruition. And it's not because of lack of effort, but it was also not intentional focused work. So sometimes there's a big difference between being busy and being productive. And I'm learning that in my inefficiencies, there's areas where I can become more productive. And with that being said, there's also intention behind it, and then goal setting. So for the last couple of weeks, I've been working on my top 50 life goals that I'd like to accomplish. And then I got to break them down into my top 5 goals for 2022. And then reverse engineer the process, right? I got clear on what the distractions were. I got clear on what my limiting beliefs were. I've also uncovered and talked about a lot of the fears that I personally had, right? Sometimes we don't even want to acknowledge that we have fear. And some of those fears could be a fear of success, fear of talking in front of people, fear of showing up, fear of leading, fear of disrupting the frequency. And, the acronym, false evidence appearing real, is fact. As soon as you decide that I'm going to switch the story, I'm going to change the content, and I'm going to rewrite the narrative. So with that being said, I started to get clear. And as I wrote down my goals, I realized there was an element that I was neglecting that has always mattered to me. And it was whether or not I was making my mother and my grandmother proud. And so I really got to explore the philosophy and the idea around making them proud. Now, granted, right, for those of us who have that family member, whether it be a mother or a father or a grandmother or grandpa, here or gone, there's sometimes rides with us that like I want to show them that their investment in me was worthy. Actually, let me rephrase that. I personally had this calling on my heart where I was like, I want to make my mom and my grandmother proud. I want to be the man that they raised me to be, despite circumstances and environments that I grew up in. And up until this point, and again, when you have those loving parents in your life, a lot of them are going to be like, I'm proud of you, or I love you, congratulations, right? So every accomplishment that I pursued, as much as I did it for me, I also did it to honor them. And as I got clear on my goals for this year, I have one goal, which is to achieve the president's team in our business and lead leaders to having a major impact in the world. And one thing that I really aspired for and started to generate a little bit of fear in me, which I realized in my busy work last year, it was distracted, it was off track, and I wasn't being as productive because I wasn't clear on having the conversation with myself about how fearful I was that my grandmother, who's same birthday as Martin Luther King, right? She's about to turn 94. And I've been blessed with her health, her mindset, her physical ability. Like, she can still move and function at 94 years old. And I've been in my business now for 9 years. And for a long time, I'm like, yo, grandma, I can't wait for her to see me cross the stage as a press team member. And in my business, it's working with people. And one of my favorite silent mentors, Jim Rohn, says, like, working with people is like herding cats, right? Like, it's probably one of the most difficult tasks you could take on, but when it works, it's magical, right? And so the ups and downs of business, what I realized as well was God was like, listen, there were things in you I had to work on, right? I needed 2020 and 2021 to become grounded, to be humbled, and to also get clear on my path and my purpose. So I couldn't ascend to a level because sometimes our dreams and our prayers will open up doors that we're not mature enough to walk through yet. And I wasn't ready for that level of promotion in life because there's a responsibility to others that is required in the process. And it's not looking at others and being envious. Like I want people to win in every aspect of life. I have friends and associates in my business that I've watched achieve these levels, and I'm cheering them on. And I'm like, yeah. In the back of my mind, I'm like, I can't wait. But then what I had to get clear on was not only do I want it for myself and for my team and my people, but I can't wait for the day that I get to bring my mother and my grandmother on stage as we cross as press team members, and like, listen, the investment you made when I was a scared little boy and I was in a difficult situation and life was not necessarily on my side, but it was grooming me. The pressure, right? The heat in the kitchen was starting to build up, and I had to sit in it and really get my ass kicked at times and get clear, like get super clear on the man I was going to become based on the circumstances that were molding me, that could have sent me in one or two paths, right? That fork in the road is so real. Like every time we face something, we have an opportunity. You can either go left, you can go right, and you get to decide, right? You can't make the right decision every time, but you can make your decision right over time, because you're going to make mistakes no matter which path you choose. But it's about who you become on the other side. And intuitively, you already know the person that you get to be and the decisions you get to make in response to the stimuli and the circumstances that life gives you, right? It's not the hand you're dealt, it's how you play it. So make the decisions that are in alignment with your purpose, your passion. They come with delayed gratification every time. But also when you're making that decision, ask yourself, am I making them proud? Am I making them proud? And as I'm diving into this philosophy and I'm starting to get a little more grounded, it was clear, like, yeah, I am, but if my entire life was put under a magnifying glass and my mom and my grandma could see everything that I do, I can't say that everything that I've done and do makes them proud. And that's not shame on my part. That's awareness, where I go, okay, if I want to be better, I get to do better. I get to hold the space, because what's done in behind closed doors will eventually come to light in one way or another. It's not that all of a sudden all of your business is going to be plastered all over social media for the entire world to see, but your character will always expose you. And it'll show you. If you achieve a certain level and you're not prepared, it's because you weren't what that Kobe said, you weren't shooting with me in the gym. Right? Like, this is a season where it's like, yo, are you putting in the work behind closed doors that will open up new doors and also prepare you with the confidence to walk through them? And that's how I know I'm on track to making them proud. And so just a side note as well, when it comes to the idea of making them proud, I heard this a couple of years ago at a team promotion, and I've spoken on it a couple of times because that moment really hit home for me. And we were sitting in a team promo, and we had this round circle conversation that we were having at this team promotion. And we had our top leaders that had all qualified to be at this retreat. And we had this beautiful house, this ridiculous mansion. And it was just one of those evenings where it was like a connection time and everyone was sharing things. And one of my close friends, Peggy, her husband, Bill, was sharing, something that he was proud of. And he talked about, like, I'm literally sitting next to him. And as he talked about this moment, he was just like, yeah, I'm really proud of my two sons, like the two sons that I've raised. And as he talked about what he was proud of, I just was sitting there, like, taking it in, not realizing that, like, I'm sitting here bawling, like crying, not boo-hoo crying, like out loud, but tears are just rolling down my face. And I wasn't really connected to why in that moment. And as I listened to him to share it, I realized for myself, and again, this is not a boo, this isn't a woe is me. This was just realization, because I never knew I had this feeling. I'd never heard my father, my grandfather, any of my uncles, any of the male figures in my life tell me they were proud of me. And I didn't know until that moment a couple of years ago, right? Like, I'm in my 30s, y'all. And it was clear. I've never had any of the male figures in my life express their pride in who I've become as a man, the way I listened to Bill express his pride over his sons. And that hit hard for me. Like, it hit really, really hard. And so something, again, in alignment with transparency and honesty, I shared with the group, because, you know, I was going to be up next to sharing. People were like, hey, what's something that really resonated with you? And I just wanted to be honest, like, and not from a space of like, I feel defeated or like I'm going without. Because in that same moment, what hit for me was, because anybody who knows me, I've been praying and manifesting that one day I will be the father of twin boys. And I look forward to it more than anything. I am excited for it. Do twins run in my family? No, they do not. You don't have to ask if twins run in my family. It doesn't matter. That's not what I'm asking for. I'm asking because that is what I have a desire on my heart. And also, just a side note and disclaimer, if you desire to be in my life and you think it is appropriate that you're going to be like, oh, you're going to have twin girls, you will not have access to my life. Because we talked about in previous TurnUp Tuesdays, I have established boundaries. What I want for my life, and I encourage you to adopt this if you are willing to hold strong and true to who you are. What you want for your life, the people in your life lose nothing by celebrating the goals and the dreams that you have for your life. Pay attention to the people that intentionally go against the things that you want for your life, because that is a toxic trait. It's an insecurity, and it's actually people showing you who they really are. If they can't cheer you on for the things that you truly want for your life, they don't deserve to have a front row seat in that journey. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. And it could be some of your closest friends. Check their ass. Right? Like, literally, I have removed friends and family. There are some people that were close to me that aren't even allowed. They're not allowed on my social media. And I gave them forewarning. I was like, hey, yo, what I want for my life, if you can't fall in line and at least cheer for it for me, you don't have to even believe it's going to happen for me. Because people always say, do twins run in your family? No, they don't. Well, then it's highly unlikely. Watch yourself, right? Like, because it has no bearing on you. Right? Like, what I want from, if I go, hey, I want a Bentley, and you're like, oh, a Bentley Continental, all white GT, and I just saw the unveiling, good looking out, Sonia, the 2022 all white Bentley. Oh, it is fire. It is fire. But if I tell you I want a Bentley all white GT Continental coupe with tan and red interior, and you go, well, that car's just too expensive, watch yourself, because all you have to do is like, yo, I hope you get it. You lose nothing by celebrating what people want for their life, because what I want for my life doesn't mean that you can't have for yours. So when we get to that conversation of like twin boys, again, I have friends and family that are no longer allowed in my social media space, where I'll post the declaration on my story. We also, like, I don't respond to their text messages. Why? Because you've already showed me who you are. And when there's boundaries in playing this game, and some people are like, how could you be so cold and matter of fact? Because if I can't get clear and grounded in the frequency as to which I am looking for life. Now, listen, if God goes, hey, I know what you asked for, but this is what I gave you. Don't think that I'm not going to be a proud father of whatever children I have one day, dumbass. Like, listen, let's operate with common sense. I don't need you to play devil's advocate. The devil is playing devil's advocate. If you can't cheer, shut up. What did Thumper's mom say in Bambi? If you have nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all. So get very clear on your goals. And as we continue to ascend, I was like, man, in that story, again, sometimes I get off on tangents, but the story about Bill sharing his pride for his sons, what I realized in that moment was, even though I had not experienced that, I still have an opportunity. And according to my manifestation and prayers, like, here, God, I pray that I get to be the father of twin boys, fathers that one day your daughters may not have to heal from. Amen. Hallelujah. Right. I didn't have it, but that doesn't mean I won't have the opportunity to give it. I get to raise young men and be present, be at every game, at every recital, at everything that they do, and express that love and that pride as I raise them and am a full-on participant to be an incredible husband and father, to show them what it looks like to love their mother, but also be present as a father and give them guidance and course correction. I'm super excited to give that gift to my future sons. Right? Like, I'm empowered. And this is also a reflection of life. There's an opportunity for us to gradually shift the occurrences, because what I was like, oh man, I missed out on, is not from a space of lack. I truly believe that God had to deny me certain things so I could understand the value that they could hold for my future. Right? So now I hold for people. And again, this is even practice. Like I spend time with my nieces and nephews. A lot of my business partners have some of the most incredible kids. And in spending time with them, as much fun as I have with them, as much love and running around and playing with them that I'll give them, I still want to hold a certain space in their life where I'm like, yo, listen, this is the guidance, but also I'm proud of you for these little tasks. You did a great job. No, I don't just shower like my nieces with, oh, you're so beautiful. But I will tell you, you're beautiful, you're talented, you're smart. Why? Because if they start hearing these things early, when they come late, they'll be like, well, I already know that, right? They'll be like, I get to operate in that space. And I'm truly excited to just be that person, and to be that person for my future kids. So what we can do is sometimes we can look at life and go, these were the hands that I was dealt. And we can complain like, dang, I can't really make a hand out of this. Or we can play it as if we were dealt the most incredible hand, because sometimes there's a simple understanding that focus is just as valuable as talent. Like, you don't have to be the most talented individual to find your success, to find your avenue. Sometimes you just got to focus in. And something that I was neglecting because, again, I didn't want to recognize that up until this point, I haven't done what I said I was going to do. We have an opportunity to still make those people proud that love us. And for those of you, side note, I know 2022 has just started. But I have quite a few people around me that have lost somebody close to them recently. And last week we talked about like tomorrow isn't promised. I had no idea that coming off of last week's tomorrow isn't promised, that several people in my life in that 7 days were going to lose several people in their life. And so I just encourage you to take major leaps of faith on yourself. Because if you truly aspire to make those that love you proud, you got to become the best you. And you got to become the version of you that is willing to take the heartbreaks, the loss of jobs, the loss of incomes, friends and family walking away from you, and unapologetically become the best version of you. And you don't grow without pain, without work, without grind. Just get very clear. You're not going to perfect anything in life. There's this idea of perfectionism. And so many of us go, oh, well, I don't want to do it till it's perfect. Yo, TurnUp Tuesday will never be perfect. I'm never going to perfect this process. I'm going to perfect my effort because I don't come to this call haphazardly. I give it to God. I get clear, and I also clear space so that it's like, yo, what's the message for this week? And let it rip. Just be you. I am never going to say the right things. That's also why I give y'all the disclaimer at the very beginning. If I say something that upsets or triggers you, you're welcome. I am not sorry. Sometimes our asses need to be checked. We need to have our course corrected. We need our feathers ruffled because we've been sitting there not realizing that we had wings this entire time and we're not even flying. We're walking with chickens. Yo, skip them. And I know it's like, damn, I don't want to hurt people's feelings. If you're going to make your loved ones proud, if you got kids, let them be proud that you're their mother or their father. And they're going to be proud because they love you unconditionally, right? They're like, oh my God, you're the biggest thing to them. You're their superhero. But you know how much prouder they can be when they see you step into your greatness? I know sometimes we feel like we have to sacrifice for those that we love. And we're like, yo, I'm not going to do me so that I can care for you. Find a way to do both. Because tomorrow is not promised. We do not have forever. And whatever goals or dreams you have for your life, one of my good friends just jumped on and she's been killing it, right? Like last year, she started on her journey doing fitness competitions and she's been killing the game. Like to watch her from her first competition to her next competition as she continues to evolve. The hardest part was a conversation we had probably, I think it was around just after her it was right before her first competition. And somebody close to her was like, I don't like how your body looks. It's gross. Yo, sometimes you got to realize, and this isn't about, hey, you got to prove them wrong. Prove your freaking self right. And sometimes you got to go against the grain where the people in your life won't accept the journey that you're taking on. But in order for you to be who you were, in order for them to see where you can stand, and some of them won't recognize your greatness until they see strangers celebrate you. But damn, you got to stop being afraid of what other people think about the process. right? They said this to her in her process. But now when I look at who she became and the discipline that she instilled and the fire that it lit in her, I was like, yo, she's a monster. Those are the type of people that you want to align yourself with, because so many of us get talked out of our goals and our dreams because somebody close to us was like, here, let me sprinkle a little salt. What they're talking about is their own pain, their own fear, their own inability to step into their greatness, to be who the hell they were supposed to be. And if you truly want to make them proud, you got to go without them sometimes. Sometimes you got to shift the conversation so powerfully. You got to upset people. No, you're not allowed. I don't even know you, Brian. So no, how do I close your record? Sometimes you got to shift the conversation so powerfully that you get to let them see the final product and go, this is where I was going. It didn't matter if you appreciated it in the beginning. It didn't matter if you appreciated it halfway through. It doesn't even matter if you appreciate the end. I became who I was supposed to be, because goddamn, why would I waste any more time being who y'all think I should be? And that is when you will start to make the people who truly love you, who truly cheering for you, proud. That's when people will recognize your greatness. That's when people will start to understand that, yo, it took another level. And again, I am in study mode, y'all. I just finished Mel Robbins' The 5-Second Rule again. And I'm living in this space where, yo, I've been reaching out to people and having conversations with people and creating from this space of, yo, this is the vision. This is where I'm going. Because what I realize is the empire I seek to build is not for me to ascend to a level that I'm like, oh, look what I did. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And I'm looking to build a legendary impact in this world. I want it to be so epic that my name is associated with so many people's ascension into the best version of themselves, not for my own gratification, but knowing that God put me here to be a vessel for other people's greatness. Because what you think you become, what you feel you attract, and what you imagine you create. And what I'm creating is a legacy business where it's not about just my name, but it's a series of people who have been lost in the darkness and felt alone to just get a helping hand where somebody says, yo, I see you. I'm proud of you. So that they keep going until they ascend to the level that they were created to be. And that one person in their life that has been cheering them on, that invested the most. I can tell y'all, yo, my grandma held me down during the darkest times of my life. I hated spending summers in Tucson. I'm a Florida boy, yo. I'm used to culture, to life, to energy, to festivals. I still remember the Goombay Festival in Miami, yo. I don't even know where Goombay came from, but it was like a pure island festival. I just associated with the Caribbean. I just didn't know which island it came from, but it was just this high energy, pure infectious love of life and celebration of culture and people. And it was just like the entire city of Miami literally converged, and it was all demographics. And then I ended up spending time in Tucson, and what I realized was that Tucson was boring and slow and a pain in the ass. But the reason I needed to be there is because there were still times where God had to quiet the noise and the celebration, because I had not yet created the man I needed to be celebrated. I needed that guidance in the quiet hours. I needed life to be slowed down so I could spend time with somebody who was invested in me before I could even invest in myself. And then that then transpired to my mom being able to water seeds in me and hold and give me life philosophies that I necessarily didn't even grasp when I was a child. But when I became a man, I was like, oh, it makes sense now. It makes sense now. Now I can apply these philosophies to how I show up in life, because now I'm building a business of people, and I'm not building it on their backs. I'm letting them climb on my back to ascend to the levels that God had for them. Because listen, you can reach a little bit taller when you got somebody who's willing to let you stand on their shoulders, because I know that if I pour into people, and sometimes I get the chance to see in others what they don't get to see in themselves, because my mother and my grandmother saw it in me before I saw it in me. So I encourage you and I beg of you to be who you were created to be, so that you can have what you were created to have, and the impact will reach lives for generations to come. We will not be here forever. I don't know what day I'll take my last breath, but whatever day that is, my legacy will be cemented. I will have a footprint, a path of footprints that have touched lives every single step of the way. Even in my mistakes, I realize that I've made people better because I still operate with a pure heart. I operate with a purpose. And in that, I know that my legacy will also lead to one day my twin boys being like, I'm proud to say that that's my father. That's what I'm leaving. That's what I'm doing. And that's who I'm becoming. I'm proud to say one day that my wife is going to be like, yo, that's my baby. That's my man. Yo, that's my husband. That's who I built this empire with. Yo, you know how good that feels? My grandmother's going to be like, my baby did it. And my mom's going to know that she raised a boy and created space for him to become a man. Because there's nothing she could do to make me a man. But she was able to create a space where God was able to walk with me as I became a man. There's so many things that are transpiring in life right now. And 2020 is just starting. We are literally, today's the 11th. We're 10 days into the month, 10 and a half days in. And as you really start this process of becoming, get clear. Like, I'll tell you, like, it's on my whiteboard. Make them proud. And I'm going to make my mother and my grandmother proud. And I'm going to discard the excess. Something we talked about, what was this, couple Turn Tuesdays ago in the conversation around boundaries and things like that. Like, I had to solidify some boundaries with my father. Like, yo, homie, this is how we show up. This is, if you can't show up this way, then you don't have access. And I haven't heard from him since. And that's neither here nor there. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to reach back out, because the love I'm giving to you, you don't have to deserve it. It's not whether or not you earned it. I'm giving from my abundance. I'm giving from my excess, because I'm giving that love to me as I'm getting so clear on who I'm becoming and where I'm going. Yo, listen, there's nothing you can do. Whatever your response is means nothing to me. I am giving to you, and you're welcome, whether you want it or not. Like I said, yo, this is just my 2 cents. No, you didn't ask for it, but I'm gonna give it to you anyway. And I pray that there's a slight perspective shift that empowers you to become a better version of yourself. And as you do that, yo, stop beating yourself up for the mistakes you made or who you become. Even if you, like, your dark side, and everyone has a dark side. Everyone has that other side of them that doesn't come straight to the light. That is like, yo, these are some of the thoughts that I don't share. These are some of the things that I do. Speaking of which, I'm also thinking about starting a close friends Insta story. Because, yo, I be clowning y'all. But there's just certain things I just don't share, because I'm like, yeah, I don't know if people would really receive it. But my friends be like, yo, you be making jokes. I'm like, yeah. So I might start a close fans. I'll post a poll on my story on whether or not I should start a close fans. Because as much as I love to share perspective, I love to clown, y'all. I love to make jokes. If you're super sensitive, you don't need to be on my close fans if I decide to do it. Because I'm not going to be. Another thing. Side note, in my intention to make people proud, I did see a video that was originally a TikTok, but it was shared on Instagram, of this young lady who claims to be a fitness professional, right? And in the background of her video is somebody else at the gym doing an exercise that she doesn't recognize. And the whole time she's like, what is this person doing? Do you know what they're doing? Because I don't. Like, why would they be doing this? This doesn't make any sense. Yeah? This is one thing that I recognize. People who've truly created success and or have achieved levels of greatness in their own right, in their own purpose, and they're making people proud that know and love them. They don't have to belittle anybody else. And I know this is the new year, and I hear a lot of gym goers and my friends that are in the fitness industry like, oh, here come the new year, new me people in the gym. Hey, just a word of advice. Shut the hell up. You had a day one too at some point in time, right? Yo, yes, the gyms are going to be busier right now. You know how beautiful it is that people are willing to work on themselves? I don't care if it's in January. You can get started tomorrow. You could be 350 pounds and not know what you're doing, walking on the treadmill at 0.5. If you are trying, I'm cheering for you. If you are putting forth an effort, I am cheering for you. If you are failing, I'm cheering for you. And we get to learn how to cheer for others despite whether or not we believe it to be beneficial to ourselves because their effort, if you're not going to encourage them to move forward, sit your ass down. Like, take several seats. It is actually indicative of your insecurity and who you are and what you've created and where you're at, that you are belittling somebody else for anything that they've done. And this goes bigger than the gym. If you can't look at somebody else's relationship and go, hey, I'm proud of you, right? Congratulations, cheer them on. If they're winning, yo, I see people talk trash, and I see it on the post all the time. I'm not talking about anybody on here specifically, but I'm talking about life in general. And if we have the thoughts, people will post relationship goals or this, that, and the other, and you go, oh, well, why would that be relationship goals? Yo, if you don't sit your bitter ass down, if you don't start to celebrate life, like, listen, everything I do, before we got on Turn Up Tuesday, I am so excited. I am so excited to give. I am so excited to share. I am so excited to be a vessel. Do I get nervous before Turn Up Tuesday? Yes, but nervousness and excitement biologically generate the exact same response. So instead of being like, oh my God, what am I going to share? Oh my God, I can't wait to share. I am so excited. When I walk in the gym, I am excited for people that are struggling through trying to figure it out. You know how uncomfortable there was an article that I read, and I wish I could remember where it was at. Damn it. But they talked about the gym is 72% of people go to the gym for their social time throughout the day. Even though the gym is probably one of the most antisocial places on earth. So 72% of people go to the gym to get their social time in, right? To be around other people outside of like their 9 to 5s, and especially now that a lot of people are still able to work from home. So they're just going to be around people. But you know how uncomfortable it is for so many people to be in the gym that don't feel like they know what they're doing, don't know how to execute, don't know how to get results. And if you're trying to get results and you're not sure where to start, holla at me. I'm always looking to partner with some new people. We are in our 21-day challenge right now, but I am taking on new clients and really helping people ascend to that next level in life. So if you'd like to ride with me, shoot me a DM. But the understanding is that the people who are trying deserve a hand clap. I can promise you this, and this is a homework assignment just for those of you who are on this call today. The 17 of you that decided to ride this out, that came through the switch, I love you, right? But if you made it this far, I'm just going to ask that this week, at some point this week, you know what? Let's shorten that down. In the next 24 hours, recognize somebody in life and give them a compliment. Just cheer them on. If you see someone at the store and they got some dope shoes on, or you see someone with brightly colored hair, right? And I do have some friends that have colored their hair, and they color their hair, even though it is a bold statement, they're extremely introverted and insecure. Like, I got some friends that like have really like done some bright things, but they do it because they don't know how their personality is going to give attention. So they do these things for attention. And sometimes you can show somebody some love because they may have taken a leap of faith and tried something that you may not resonate with. There are times where I saw this one girl in in Ross, and her hair was like cotton candy, bright. Like, I was like, damn, we know you're coming. And so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna let her know. I know she coming. So I just walked up and I was like, yo, I think your hair is absolutely beautiful. And her eyes welled up like she was about to cry. And she was like, thank you so much. None of my friends like it. And I was just like, well, those aren't your friends. Because what you do to your hair has nothing to do with them. It has everything to do with you. Because again, if the people in your life can't celebrate you, don't let them have so much access to your life. So I encourage you, if you're willing to do it, I would love for you to drop it in the comments. I'll still get this video posted to my timeline, both the first half, part 1 and part 2, since the phone call came in. But I'd love to hear what those of you who decided to execute on the homework assignment, and I will also put mine in there today. In the next 24 hours, I will recognize somebody. I'll probably see somebody at the gym today. But I'm also not looking for somebody struggling. I'm just going to give someone a genuine compliment and let them know I see them, right? Like, yo, if someone has a beautiful smile or a nice button or a nice t-shirt, or a pair of shoes that you like, a pair of jeans or something that you wouldn't necessarily wear, show people love. You know how quickly we can duplicate smiles just by finding a reason to show love without a requirement to get it in return? I don't need a compliment back. That's probably one of my least favorite things in the world. If I give you a compliment, and then I feel, and again, you can feel energetically, and I don't feel it's malicious in any way, shape, or form. But when I give somebody a compliment, I don't give just generic compliments like, hey, beautiful day. It's nice to see you. Like, if I'm gonna give you a compliment like, yo, I see you. I absolutely love that necklace. yo, those earrings look really good on you. Like, did you pick them out? Like, I'm going to recognize something about you. And I always say when somebody's like, oh, I love you too. Like, oh, nice hoodie. Like, oh, okay, great. But listen, you don't have to pay a compliment back. Just receive it. Sometimes the best receiving of a compliment, and this also goes for us on the line, is thank you. Thank you. And that's also how you'll know when people give you a genuine compliment. Because if they get an attitude because you didn't give them one back, they were just doing it just to get recognized. Like, there'll be people like, oh, I love what you did with your hair. Waiting, they'll be like, And you'd be like, I love what you did with your hair too. So this is also why it's so powerful to just give. Like, just give. So that's the homework assignment for today for anyone who's open to take it on. But in the process of the conversation around making people proud, find the people in your life that love you the most, right? Unconditionally. It could be a mother, a father, an aunt, an uncle, a grandmother, a grandparent, your kids, right? But I encourage you to do the things on your heart that would genuinely make them proud, that they know you. It's a true blessing, because in order for that to be true, you get to be the best you. Not the you that makes people comfortable, right? So if you're in a job or you're in a career or you got a degree, if you're in school or you do things just to make someone happy, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about you sacrificing your truth to make someone happy. I'm talking about you living your truth to make you happy and the people who truly love you proud of who you became in the process. So let's get better together, y'all. I'm so grateful and honored that you guys decided to ride with me on TurnUp Tuesday. I pray that this message reached your heart. I pray that there is something on you and on this call for you that you can take with you and become a better version of yourself. Because as life goes on, we are not promised forever. We will not be here forever. So our legacy can live on for generations to come, because you decided to be the best version of yourself and give it to those who may not even necessarily deserve it, but truly need it. Sometimes you got to give love, because you are the version, you are the vessel, and you are the opportunity to give love that somebody didn't feel that they were deserving of, but they needed to experience to know that it exists. Let's get better together. Have